Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Treya Tarot. This is the collective reading for November 1st to November 3rd, 2024. Today is the new moon in Scorpio. There's definitely some stuff going on astrologically that is very, very intense. I've been listening to videos all morning about it, trying to figure out how to prioritize self-care just so that all of it doesn't necessarily negatively affect me as much as it says it will. And of course, I end up dropping a card. Oh, I dropped a few. I believe it's only these. Okay. Let's see what I dropped. Pillar reversed. Conqueror of Globes, so Knight of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, interesting. Okay, work, and then the Five of Swords. Okay, I would say right off the bat, it might be very important to ground yourself this weekend, and to make sure that you wait until you fully processed any one particular situation or experience before you react. Okay. There's some overreaction vibes in these cards, and then overreaction vibes that lead you to that Five of Swords, which is kind of like the question of whether or not our reactions and our drive to be right alienates us or helps us participate in the best, highest good for all involved kind of thing. It's a question of conflict, but conflict for what purpose? Okay. These cards are so pretty. I'm using the Empyrean Tarot again because I can't stop using them. They're just so beautiful. So let's see. Let me cut the deck. All right, we're going to go with the left pile. Okay. Five of Pentacles, so many Pentacles cards. There's definitely a question of what are we making real? Four of Cups, disillusionment, the dream. Death, transformation, beautiful. Look at that Death card. It's a little hard to see, so I'm gonna pull it up here, but look at how gorgeous that Death card is. Oh. Threads of Fate is an amazing, they make amazing decks. And then the Hanged one, the Hanged Man. So both the Pillar reversed and the Hanged Man, the Hanged one, lead me to imagine that grounding and waiting will be very important. So does the Knight of Pentacles, again, the only knight in the deck that waits to take action. This weekend is not the weekend to make any rash decisions. This is the weekend to consider, to slow down, to ground yourself. You're in the midst of a transformation. This Four of Cups death energy here is really interesting too, to me, because the Five of Pentacles is about the wound, about being on the outside of something. The Four of Cups is about disillusionment and what is it that we're holding as our ultimate goal and whether or not we can achieve that based on the resources we actually have available to us. The Death card is about transformation, and the Hanged Man is about delightful, joyous waiting. So you've got this set up to almost have to wait for your final moment or your breakthrough or your transition, but you're preparing for something. You're preparing for the healing of this wound. I have a feeling that all of the astrology, the very difficult astrology of the month of November, is actually leading us to have this sort of final catharsis. And I've heard some astrologers talk about the catharsis of the aspects, but I feel like this is a big cathartic moment where we move from holding on to this wound here to moving past it and then having to wait for what our next steps are. Because most people who've been living in one wound, this sort of, will I ever find what I really want? Do I deserve it kind of question, have to transition that energy to nothing, because our reference points, if we want to move into something new, We have to risk not having a reference point on how to be in that moment once it arrives. Okay? Eight of Swords, Eight of Daggers, self-imposed prison. Ooh, look at that coming up reversed. It's the only one that's switched. Okay. So the Eight of Swords is about self-imposed restriction, mental restriction, belief systems that we keep repeating to ourselves that don't necessarily apply, but are keeping us bound. The Knight of Wands, that's movement towards passion, movement towards something that awakens us, right? And that reversed Ace of Cups. What are you rushing towards? Slow down. Slow down. What are you rushing towards? And is it what you really think it is? What are you complicating that is simple? What are you, how do I say this? What's occurring to me is this weekend, if you feel hot-headed, if you are rushing towards a belief that you're looking at something familiar, slow down. If you end up in an argument with someone or in a situation with someone where you think you're watching a repeat of history, slow down. Because you're not. Something else is occurring. Sovereign of Cups, Queen of Cups, Seven of Daggers, okay, Seven of Swords. Oh, okay. So what you're trying to protect is your softness and your intuition and your fluidity, your ability to show up for life and love and purpose and all of those things. But how it's actually coming out is your anxiety. Okay? The anxiety that is being experienced here is taking precedence over the truth. And I feel like it shouldn't be. It's pretty clear to me with all of the symbols of just wait, slow down, that this weekend holds the potential for us to rush into arguments or almost life-altering situations without much consciousness, out of automatic responses. If you can give yourself lots of space this weekend, do it. If you can give yourself lots of opportunity to calm down, ground, use your exercises to stay mindful, please do it. Because this is a weekend of rash decisions and mistakes and anger and potentially grief. I feel like the other side of this is beautiful. Like, that's what catharsis means. You have to get it out to move through it. But the trigger potential here is really high. Okay, Six of Globes, Six of Pentacles, unexpected help. The Ace of Pentacles, new situation, new reality, money coming in, and then Judgment reversed. So I don't know how these cards ended up reversed at all. But read them how they come out, right? Six of Globes, Ace of Globes, anyone in financial distress, help is on the way most likely, or you will find somebody who can help you. But be careful of the agreements you enter into. Be careful of shared resource moments. There's definitely a theme here about, with all the pentacles, about how we're allocating our resources and whether or not we're being mindful and conscious of how we're doing that. If somebody asks you for money and you do not feel safe to give it to them, don't. These contracts are not easily let go of. Okay, the Sun and then the Two of Cups, right? Now, the thing here is there's a fine line between the reality of mutual reception and the experience of being used. And for some of us, that line is blurry. We don't necessarily know when somebody's authentically showing up to share and when they're just there to take. If you have this particular wound, this weekend will help you break through to the other side of that. This feels to me like the givers are coming up against the moment where they can break through and then relax into receiving, and where the takers are going to be held accountable for the ways in which they've overstepped. This will be an interesting weekend. It feels, I don't want to use the word icky, but it feels icky to me. It feels kind of like wading through a muck, but on purpose and for a reason, and with the ultimate goal and ultimate ending of truth, illumination, and love being the end result. So yeah, and then the Chariot, pulling yourself up and out. The end result of wading through this weekend's material is ultimately freedom and love and peace and energy being energized. But there's bound to be some hard work coming up. This month's full of that, so there may be quite a few readings that come up along these lines, but to have it come out so strongly for this weekend, I like the end three, the Sun, the Two of Cups, and the Chariot. There is a transcendence here. There is a full-hearted love here. There is truth. So try and go through the confusing parts as slowly as possible until you understand what you're looking at. All right. Well, have the best weekend possible. If you feel like sharing, leave me a comment. I love to communicate with everybody. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week.